I wanted to address a topic that's been kind of a hot conversation lately in a lot of areas, a lot of forums, and that's the Suzuki needles and the advantages of them over the stock ones. Now, I'm speaking in particular of KTM two-stroke bikes. This, of course, applies to all two-strokes, but a lot of people, it's kind of a popular thing. And of course, the Suzuki needles and the JD needles are a great option. Probably JD is the best option. But for anybody on a budget, the Suzuki needle works wonders. People are wondering what the difference is, what the advantage is. Um, it's a big difference in the way the bike runs. You can't see it in the needle. This is the stock needle that came in my bike. It's the NOZH, and this is the NE or yes, NOZH, and then this is the Suzuki NECH needle. Um, Basically, the main difference is how the bike performs off the bottom end. Your starting diameter here on the Suzuki needles or on the JD, and again, I'm not going to speak for JD because I've not used one, I've not run one, but I know that the effects are similar. But basically, your stock needle on these KTMs is extremely rich off idle, which would be in this vicinity here. It's a bit narrower, which allows a lot more fuel, and it's great for people who race. But this is horrible for guys who spend most of their life in eighth to quarter throttle range. For instance, people who trail ride, or even people like me who ride woods and are in first and second gear a lot, climbing over rocks and logs, doing slow rocky hill climbs where you're picking your way up a hill. I need my bottom end predictable. I need it smooth. A rich bottom end, that stuttery, it's horrible. You can feel the power jump as you move out of that on basically any two-stroke. When you move out of that rich stutter, you can feel that burst of energy. What you're trying to do is get rid of that unpredictability. So you're trying to reduce that stutter, that rich bottom end, to where you have a nice, crisp, clean burst of energy right off idle. You don't have a spooging mess down your tailpipe, down on your swing arm. And of course, spooge isn't, we don't jet for that. That's not the goal, but it's a benefit of having a clean running bike. But it does make the bike extremely predictable. It makes it easy to tune. When you get these needles, I recommend, might have seen this floating around the web. Um, this is basically the range of needles, the Suzuki needles. Now, I don't claim to be a jetting guru. I actually received a lot of this information and help from a couple of the very knowledgeable members on KTM Talk website. Uh, James Dean, who the JD Jetting, is extremely generous with the information that he gives out there. So I've gleaned all this from things I've read and the testing that I've done on my bike. But the advice I received and what I have found to work really well is, of course, we don't need to worry about all these needles or any. Our main concern is C and G. Now, the C and the D, you'll notice the alternating CD, CD, CD. The C and the D are identical needles, identical profile, identical starting diameter. The only difference in those two letters is the C is 1/2 clip leaner than the D. The last letter is your starting profile. Now this is from richer to leaner. The recommendation I received is to start with an NEDG. So you can see that's basically one of the richest needles on this chart, and to move up to an H diameter, W, J, whatever you like. I started out with a G and an H. I ended up settling on an H diameter. I like it. I like having a little bit of stutter. It makes me feel, it makes me know that my motor is getting plenty of lubrication. I'm not running lean, but it's such a small area that stutter is in that it's almost hard to find with my throttle, but I like it like that so that I know that I can make it rich if I want to. It also comes in advantageous after like a long hill climb, and I know the bike's, really working hard. I'll intentionally ride slow a little while in that and let it stutter a little bit, because then when it richens up, it also cools the cylinder and the piston. So it's just a thing I like to do. I don't know that it's even necessary, but it makes me feel better in my OCD. Um, a lot of riders will settle on the H, the W, or the J. I see a lot of people. These leaner needles, it seems like guys with the bigger bore bikes are running them. But the 200s, I think the H is kind of a good area. G or H is a good area to start in if you're running a 200. And it, like I said, it really helps clean up the bottom end. It makes the bike very predictable, fun to ride. It makes the power delivery linear too. You don't notice near that power band hit at the top end when it hits the pipe. It's not explosive, although I also have a cut head on mine too, which also affects that. But either way, the needle really helps in guys who are riding woods, tight single track, and things like that. So I hope that helps anybody who has any questions to, figure out whether that's the kind of needle that would work for you. But I highly recommend if that's the type of riding you do.